You're listening to the official Minnesota Wild podcast, presented by Acrisure.
Centering pass back in front of Roloson with a big save on Tanguay. It's Dwayne Roloson again. He has been the star of this hockey game. From the right point, a big save by Roloson. Oh, what a save by Roloson. For Harvey, fine save. Rebound, robbed by Roloson. The save of the year by Dwayne Roloson. Flipped the glove in the air and picked it off as it was headed just under the crossbar.
I don't know what I liked more, hearing Dwayne Roloson's name in a play-by-play call or hearing the voice of Bob Kurtz describing former Wild goaltender Dwayne Roloson manning the pipes here for the Minnesota Wild. What feels like a long, long time ago. Nice to catch up with Rolly the goalie. Joins us now here on KFN. Rolly, Kevin Falness, I can't wait to hear your voice, my friend.
Well, Kevin, what's been going on with you? You've been driving a school bus, eh? Getting the kids all over the place, running them around, or what?
You have no idea. You've been there, and I was looking at your kids as they ran through the Niagara program. I was actually talking to Mark Parrish here before the show, and I'll get into that here in a second. But we were talking about the fact that you had kids that were born in the year 2000, and then when you were here in 2003, you've got almost 30-year-olds running through your pasture.
Well, no, we're not quite that old yet. They're 25 and 23, but they're a quarter century old. And one's starting on his life, and he's playing pro hockey over in Belgium and trying to move up the ranks over in Europe. And the other guy's has another year left of undergrad here at Niagara, and then his plan is he's already been accepted to University of Buffalo Med School and going to try and be a Dr. Burns or Dr. Boyd, all those guys. So we'll see what goes on with his life after college hockey's over.
Unbelievable. Well, let's start there then. What's going on off the ice? You talk about your kids. How about you? Sounds like you're doing some big things there at Niagara, right? For the purple, are they the Purple Eagles?
Yeah, the fictitious bird Purple Eagles. Yeah. We're here. So this year, I've been here for 2 years. So last year I did a lot of the scoring, try to create offense. So we actually had some success that way until playoffs. So we had a good year trying to create. And then this year it went more into sort of being sort of help the head coach with some different things, but focusing more on goaltending when it becomes the individual work here. So we actually have a Stillwater goalie, a freshman first year, I guess I should say, goalie from Stillwater. He's here, so Pony Pride, as they call it there in Minnesota. So it's great. His aunt and uncle live right across the street from us, so I know his cousins very well and all that stuff. So it's nice to talk about being back in Minneapolis, and then we have a Latvian goalie, so he's in his second year. So it's been good. So a lot of teaching, but it's been a lot of fun, and obviously growing pains with the younger guys. But it's been good.
It sounds like you're enjoying it, and you're a guy that loved being on the ice. That was part of what Parrish said. He said, it's my off season, and Rolly won't let me leave the ice until I shoot about 100 more pucks at him. So I know how much you enjoy the on ice stuff. Is this helping to fill that void after hanging him up? I guess now 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it does fill a void. It's a lot of fun spending some time with the young guys, and we're at a level too that you can throw some different things at them, and they're trying different things. And the best part is when they succeed, right? It's the joy that they get in succeeding. And then yesterday I broke down a one-timer with a guy, that 22-year-old guy that's played pretty high level, and I'm like, you never worked on any of this, so and then getting him shooting these things, and he's like, how come I never learned this before? So it's been fun and enjoyable that way, trying to get these guys going and giving them success, but also teaching the small things that they haven't got over the years. So it's been a lot of fun.
Talking to former Wild goaltender Dwayne Roloson, now with the Purple Eagles of Niagara, but not that long ago, he spent 14 years in the National Hockey League, 4 years with the Minnesota Wild from 2001 to 2006. When I talk about former Wild goaltender Dwayne Roloson, when you think about your time spent here in the Twin Cities, what flashes before your brain?
I think, just the playoff run, obviously, with the fan support. But outside the game, we made a lot of great friends in Minneapolis. We loved our time there. We're still in contact with people there, and did a lot of stuff with the St. Paul Police, a lot of ride-alongs, a lot of time with them, charitable stuff with them, and it's we love Minneapolis. And even when I was coaching in Anaheim, I commuted. We lived in Stillwater, then we went over to Hudson, Wisconsin. Kids played in Stillwater, but I traveled back and forth, and we made that home for a couple of years after I retired. So, we love the area, and we still get back, once or twice a summer, and we do not call the Falness family because they are way too busy to catch up with them.
I could use a babysitter anytime you want to just come on over and hang out with the 11-year-old. You're more than welcome, Rolly.
Well, you know what I'll do? I'll spoil them, put a bunch of sugar in them, and then you guys got to pay the price. Melissa got to pay the price when you get home, Yeah. So I wouldn't want to do that to you.
I very much appreciate that. You had no tie to Minnesota before 2001. Who do you credit for bringing you to the state of hockey initially and setting down these roots where at least one of your kids was born back in 2003?
Yeah, the youngest was born there at the Woodwinds Hospital in Woodbury. So, but Doug Risebell, Doug was the GM at the time. He was when I first broke in or signed as a free agent, Doug was the GM at Calgary. So, we had a relationship from then, and then, Doug brought me in and, gave me a call in the summer. Actually, Melissa and I were on the golf course, and he's like, Rolly, you want to be a part of the Wild organization? And, from there, it carried on, and it was great to get an opportunity, and, playing for Jock was awesome. I knew Mike Ramsey from Buffalo, learning from Jock and Rammer and I had a good relationship in Buffalo, and I learned a lot from him in Buffalo, and I knew I was going to learn more, playing for both of them. So, I still use some of Jock's stuff today, and, all the learning stuff that we got from Minnesota. It was just a great experience all the way around from our team, how close our team was to the culture, the liveliness of the city and everything else. So, so I really appreciate Doug for getting me into the organization.
We're celebrating 25 years of Minnesota Wild hockey, which, blows your mind anyway. But part of it is bringing back some of the old-time names throughout the course of this season. And at the beginning of this year, for the first time since 2009, saw Jacques Lemaire in St. Paul. And not only that, the entire inaugural coaching staff, along with Bob Mason, he wasn't on the inaugural staff, but it was certainly a big factor in the first 15 years of Minnesota Wild hockey. But he was here, Tremblay, Rammer, and then, of course, Doug Risebrough as well. All of them in attendance at the same time. If you can imagine what that was like. Again, first time since 2009, I've made eye contact with the great Jacques Lemaire.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sure he made you laugh, and that's one thing people don't know about Jock. He's pretty funny. He's got a dry sense of humor, and so got a lot of one-liners that come out, and all you do is laugh when you get them in a relaxed state. So it's awesome, and like I said, they're great people, great human beings. So they're a lot of fun to be around, and, us as players, it was great to be around them, and we learned a lot, but also we had a lot of laughs, between, Todd Woodcross videos before pregame to Jock chirping guys in practice and telling guys that he could shoot harder than them, which he could, so it was a lot of fun, a lot of great memories, especially now that you're bringing that stuff up. reminiscent about it. It's a lot of great memories, that's for sure.
These days they've got a pretty good goalie tandem in Philip Gustafsson and Jesper Wallstedt, but the first true goalie tandem for the Minnesota Wild, all apologies to Jamie McLennan and Noodles back in the first year, but it was the Dwayne Roloson, Manny Fernandez combination. What made you two such an effective pair when you guys were playing off each other?
I think a lot of it was, we did get along. We supported one another as best we could, and give a lot of credit to Mace and Jock. We played against teams who we had success against. He's like, okay, well, we're playing this team. This is what they want to do. Well, Rolly's good at that. We're playing this team. Manny's good at that. And we would play against the teams that we had success against, we had confidence against, and we were fortunate enough that we both played really well against those teams, and give our coaching staff credit for allowing us to play against those teams. So, we sort of got into the 1A, 1B situation there, which was unheard of at the time, but Jock made it work. And obviously with our defensive system, it allowed us to play a different, be confident and be aggressive in certain situations. And, so I think give them credit for allowing us to be a tandem and have success against certain organizations that we did have the success with.
Then I'm wondering, you already alluded to the 2003 run, and, the Wild haven't been out of the first round since 2015, and they certainly haven't had a run like you guys experienced back in 2003. But part of the magic of that was watching both you and Manny handle the different situations. Did you guys go in with a game plan like Rolly's going to be the guy this time, and then once you got past the Avalanche, then it became this? Because you survived the first half of the series against Colorado, Manny finishes it up, and then you guys kind of split time against the Canucks. And I'm just wondering how that evolved as the play, or was it just kind of spur of the moment? Jacques and Bob just kind of decided amongst the goalies that this is the way it's going to be, and you guys just kind of rolled with it.
Yeah, they decided who was playing, and they had the analytics to decide who was going to play. And the analytics in those days were the gut feelings. I actually tore my groin in game 2. So
I didn't know that.
It was in game 2 against Colorado. So it was a little, physically I couldn't really do much. But, Manny went in and stole the show, which was great. And Bruno scoring in overtime and in Patrick Roy's career and all that stuff. Like all these great memories, but give them a lot of credit for, okay, we're going to hide that he's hurt. You probably didn't even know I was hurt.
No, I didn't.
We hid it, and, we kept on going and sort of kept it away from the media, kept it away from the other teams. And, we were able to surprise them even though I couldn't play. So so it was a good job by them, but at the same time, great job by the coaching staff of playing guys who had success against certain teams.
Yeah, that whole run was so magical, and there were so many different points you could point back to. But the first one, rallying back from a 3-1 deficit to beat the Colorado Avalanche in a best-of-7 series, 4-3, on face value, that was incredible. But Rolly, have you ever gone back to look at that roster and see the Hall of Famers that are around that squad? Patrick Roy, top of the heap, but Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg. I mean, you go down the list. It's incredible what you guys really. And again, all apologies and all respect to Jacques Lemaire and the group that you guys put together in just the third year of the Wild franchise. But you guys beat it was David versus Goliath, literally in that series.
Yeah, it was. And a good friend of mine, Rob Blake, was on that team as well. And
yeah,
talking to him in the summer, I said, "What was the difference there?" And he said, "You guys played as one person. It was one team. We got a little bit individually, got into our mind, and then Willie Mitchell against Forsberg, it became a battle. Peter just sort of wanted to win that battle, and we wanted to win the power play of the special teams. Where we, as in Minnesota, we just want to win the game. We didn't care about Willie and Peter. We didn't care about our special teams. We just wanted play the best Minnesota Wild hockey we could. Like, if you go back and watch those games, Matt Johnson was a big asset for us, like blocking shots, doing those little things that, you wouldn't think of, but he was a go-to guy for us in that series. And that just goes to show, like, us playing as a team, like our team depth over their individual depth won that series for us.
It's incredible to think of some of the names that are still around the franchise to this day. Wes Walz is doing TV. Brad Bombardier is the guy that's building up the young players within this organization. Richard Park doing some scouting work. So there's still a lot of those familiar names bouncing around here.
Yeah, it's great to see, and it's awesome that they're a part of it. And it's when you're a young organization, right? You go through traditions, and you're trying to go back and use those experiences to teach these young guys. That's when I got traded to Edmonton. That's first thing you're walking through the locker room, and next thing you know, you got Gretzky, Coffey, Messier. You got these guys walking through the locker room, and it's like, oh my God, what's going on here? And with Billy being there, he's got a lot of great experiences to help these young guys, and the experience gives you longevity in playoffs and gives you the opportunity to grow and, live off the experiences that have happened in the past. And, that alone is worth millions of dollars.
You got plenty on your plate on the college scene. You got the family, all that other good stuff. How closely are you following the NHL game these days?
I when I'm at home, if it's on, I watch it. Unfortunately for Wild organization, that doesn't get on too often because my oldest is a Dallas fan and my youngest is an Oiler fan. So those games get thrown on when they're around.
How dare you?
But when there's a game on, like I try to watch. Obviously, I try to watch Minnesota as much as I can, but I usually get outruled. I don't control the clicker in my house anymore. The young guys do so. But when I get an opportunity, I do watch, and obviously with Bruno being in Nashville, guys that I played with, you sort of follow what they're doing and what's going on with them, and you try and keep in contact and keep up with the current game.
Well, I hope to see you at Grand Casino Arena soon. I mean, I know you're very busy, but if you can make your way to Stillwater, it's really not that far to St. Paul. Maybe you could swing by and say hello sometime.
I would love that. I just need to get the invite, Kev. I haven't got an invite back yet.
It's an open invitation. You know what I'll do? I'll get in line with Sickman, and we'll see if you can get one of those fancy charters to fly the Roloson clan out here, and you can take in the game in person, and maybe we can get them off the Stars and the Oilers bandwagon.
There you go. That'd be good. We gotta get these guys and show them what real hockey's all about, right?
There we go. It's so great to hear your voice, Rolly. I hope all is well. Look forward to catching up again very soon. But good luck out there with the Purple Eagles and the entire Roloson family as they continue to go through their adulthood.
Thank you very much, Kev. Say hi to Melissa. She's the brains behind that family, so make sure you say hi for me. Okay?
What you meant to say is she's a lucky, lucky gal. You say hi to your Melissa as well. Thanks, Rolly.
I will. All right, bud. Thanks for the time.
Dwayne Roloson, 14 years in the National Hockey League, 4 with the Minnesota Wild from 01 to 06, had to straddle that unfortunate work stoppage back in 05, but 62 wins with the Wild, 227 in the National Hockey League, but 62 with Minnesota, 5th in Wild history in starts, 6th in victories, 3rd in shutouts. He's at 15 shutouts in his tenure with the Minnesota Wild, and I think top 2 or 3 in both goals against average and save percentage. A wonderful name from the past of Minnesota Wild hockey. Quick break and then much more to come here. About 40 minutes left to go as we fill in for Paul Allen and Eric Nordquist here on KFA.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.